Alright guys, welcome back to Zelonka. Gaming Dad 56 here with another episode of our vegetable series here on Zelonka. We are apparently in manual transmission and our truck is not liking it. We are trying to transport some of these parsnips that we harvested over the first 3 episodes of the series to our factories so that we can start processing them. So we're going to take this first load up to the preserved food factory. Alright, so here we are up at the preserved food factory. We loaded this trailer up with 10 pallets or containers, whatever, of parsnip. There are, by my calculations, 35 containers on the field. So it's going to take us a little while to clear these off. And we're going to take, we're going to try to split them relatively evenly between the preserved food factory here and the soup factory that's kind of on the south side of the map. So there we go. 10 cases added. That wasn't, one of those cases was not full, so it wasn't quite a full 20,000 liters, but we have 32,000 liters processing in here. And according to my quick and questionable math, this should process 24,000 liters of parsnips per month. So hopefully in, mid-September, roughly, well, I have the game set, I think, to 2-day months. Yep, 2-day months. So as soon as we switch to September, it's going to start going to 2 days. But regardless, in September, since we're already halfway through the day of August, in September we should have most of our parsnips processed and be able to sell the preserved food. Obviously, right now, at this point in the series, we're not hurting for money because we just started with $1.5 million, and we haven't spent too much of that. We've spent about 500,000 roughly of our initial starting money. So we're not doing too bad. We don't really need the money per se, but it's always nice to start getting some income into the bank accounts. So let's head back to the field. We got another load to try to get onto this trailer. I loaded that one up with 10. I don't think that's going to really work. They were hanging way off the sides, much further than I thought they would, and that just did not look like a very good way to do it. So I think we'll probably load up the other way, kind of turn the pallets the other way, which I think maybe 8 fit on the trailer that way. Also, the physics of these bale trailers, it's I don't know what's going on. This has been something that happens in the game ever since I can remember, for FS22 at the very least. In reality, it's gone on, I think, for several games. But when you load these trailers up with, I guess, what I would call like loose items, like pallets or bales, things like that, the trailers just move around. They sort of scoot along the ground or sort of creep around, and it's like the physics interactions that are going on are not correct. I don't really know how else to explain it. To me, it's very frustrating. I find this loading stuff onto trailers, whether it's bales or pallets, is actually a fairly fun part of the game. It's something different than just driving up and down the fields, which is what so much of this game is. And I realize that is, that's a lot of farming too, so that's not necessarily a bad thing, but this is a break from that. It's something that, while it doesn't take a high degree of skill, I don't think, it is something that takes some skill, and it's a fun thing to do in the game. But for whatever reason, when you load some of these trailers up they seem to have this issue where they just go creeping all over the place. It makes it very difficult to load them, and it also is just, it just looks really dumb, for lack of a better word. I mean, your trailer with, you know, at times thousands of pounds loaded on it is just scooting across the ground like it's on ice. It doesn't make any sense from a physics standpoint, which then begs the question, what the heck is going on in the physics engine in this game that is happening? And more frustratingly, I think from my perspective, why has it not been fixed yet? This has been an issue since the beginning of Farming Simulator 22, and physics in general have been questionable in the entire Farming Simulator franchise as long as I have been playing. I will say that after Farming Simulator 15, with some of the updates that came in that game, and then in Farming Simulator 17, the physics got better. At least it wasn't game-breakingly bad like it was when 15 first launched and how bales were in 13. I mean, they were both just really bad. It's better now than it was before, but it's still not great. And I see people, they'll use the argument that, well, Giants has improved the physics quite a bit. And I don't disagree with that, but when they're still not good, it's not good enough. For a game that has been out, for a franchise that's been out for a decade, and a game itself that's been out for 3 years, it's not good enough. You know, I don't want to be too picky, but at the same time, large parts of this game, the forestry, the bale loading, and now the pallets that go along with this, are almost entirely physics-based events. The physics going on here are very important, and Giants tried to include things like trailer load limits based on weight and all this other stuff. So there's a lot of physics going on in this game, and the fact that the physics are not correct and that we continue to have these weird issues is just frustrating. And I don't want to rant about this too long, but front-loading pallets is one of the best examples in the game of the broken physics. Because although it doesn't happen all the time, it is not uncommon to get pallets that just stick to your pallet forks, or bales that don't want to seem to come off. I have watched people load bales in real life with a tractor or a skid steer of some sort, and there is no bales sticking to the bale spike. When you set that bale down, that bale that weighs 1,000 pounds, and you set it down on something, the friction between the bale and whatever it's sitting on, whether that's the ground or a stack of bales, that friction is so great, there is no way the friction between the little bale spike and the inside of the bale is going to overcome that. When you go to back your tractor out and pull the bale spike out, it just comes right out. There is no hesitation. There is no sliding of the bale with the bale spike. It just doesn't happen. At least in my experience. And yet in the game, that is a near constant problem. These pallets are actually doing fairly well, and I very much appreciate that. But if you do the wrong thing with them, they will stick to the pallet forks. And even worse than just like, well, that doesn't seem right, they'll actually get stuck to your pallet forks. And I have no idea what's going on with that. I am not a game developer, and I do not claim that this stuff is easy. So I try to give some leeway when it comes to this, but at the same time, when you're putting out this game and it's heavily physics based like this, you need to get it right. It should be right. And after a decade worth of development of Giant's engine and all this other stuff, we should not continue to have the same problems we had in Farming Simulator 2011. So, anyway, my rant's over on that. I'm doing the front loading. It's working pretty well, and I will give Giants credit on that. The physics overall work more often than not, and it's much better than it was in Farming Simulator 2011. However, the physics are still questionable in a lot of cases, and I would really like to see it fixed. Because for me, I love doing bale work, and I don't really do a lot of pallet work, but that's mainly because pallets up to this point have been like seeds and fertilizer. And I don't know, that just wasn't very fun. But now that we have these like vegetables getting loaded onto pallets, doing some of this is fun. This is a great break from the up and down of the normal farming. You know, after this, we're going to go probably plow this field up or cultivate this field, and we're just going to be driving up and down the field again. It just, instead of a harvester, we'll be pulling a cultivator. And so this is a break. It's something different. It is, compared to the regular, activities of farming, it's very different. You get to use the front loader. For me, I get to use the joystick, that controls the front loader. And I really enjoy this. I enjoy this even doing it more often than the regular farming. I will, in my own Let's Play, or my own playthroughs, do lots of bale work because I enjoy it. But, like here, look at this trailer. What are you doing? We are in a field of dirt, and there are 16,000 liters of parsnips on this trailer. This trailer has to weigh a considerable amount. Like, I'm not even sure we would be able to get this trailer out of the field with this truck. Yet, we can, but the trailer is scooting all over the place. So hopefully some of that stuff will get addressed. Getting physics correct in games, having played quite a few different games, it's not always easy. I know that. All the physics engines out there are just simulations of physics. They're not, it's obviously it's not real life. You have to create a simulation, a computational model of what you're going to do with physics. And anytime you do that, it's not going to be 100% correct. And they have to make it work in a game setting and not take too much computer power and all that. I get all the constraints, but I just want better. I want better physics in this game. Because when things happen like that and my trailer is sliding all over the place, like this is great. I'm hitting the brakes and my truck is taking forever to stop because it's loaded with a whole bunch of parsnips. That makes sense to me. This truck probably does not have good brakes. It's not meant to try to slow down all of this weight. And I was driving quickly, going downhill, and my brakes basically, didn't work or work very effectively. That's great. That's awesome. But why is my trailer sliding through the field when it's loaded down with thousands of pounds of parsnips? So hopefully that'll get fixed. Like I said, I'm hopeful that we will start to see some improvements in overall physics, because that kind of stuff to me is just it gets frustrating. I can lose myself in this game and have so much fun, but then something like that will happen and everything comes crashing down. Like, no, why? So anyway, I'll be done with that. If you guys though, if you kind of feel the same way, communicate with Giants. Post in the forums, send them messages, whatever, and let them know that you want these things fixed. They have a list of priorities that they will be working on for the next game, no doubt. They want to make sure they get this and that in the game. But we as a community can dictate that to them to some extent. We can tell them what we want to see in the next game. And one of the things I want to see is for them to fix the physics engine or get a new one. One of the two. Get me a physics engine that works 99+% of the time and does not pull me out of the game with this weird stuff. So I just want to take a look at this production facility real quick. Our soup factory, we got it making parsnip soup. We're at 27,000 liters of parsnips in here. The other one had, I think, 32 in it. Yeah, so we'll bring the next full load, I think, here. Let's see, we took 10, so we got 25. So we're actually going to have like 3 full loads still to do. So maybe we'll bring 2 of them here to the soup factory and 1 of them to the preserved food factory. I can't say that very well. It just does not roll off the tongue. This trailer though, this trailer is working pretty well for what I wanted. It allows me to load up about 8 pallets. Based on the way the trailer's behaving and how much the truck is struggling to pull it, I think 8 is probably around the limit. Obviously, the truck did pull it with 10, but it was slow and somewhat painful. And I changed some settings in my game, and now we're jumping around all over the place, and it's about to drive me insane. This may be a short episode because I'm going to quit and change my settings because this is driving me crazy. Sorry about that. I tried to improve the graphics quality. I looked at some of my previous videos, and the graphics quality was not great. There was a lot of pixelation when we were moving, like right now. The grass, the trees, and all of that was really pixelated, like really bad. And at first I thought, well, maybe it's my video editing software when it's rendering it out. So I played around with some settings there. It didn't seem to improve anything. And then I thought, well, maybe YouTube is doing something weird. But then I went back and actually watched the raw footage from the game and noticed that it was bad then. So I've adjusted my recording software now to hopefully put out better quality footage. And we'll see how that works. I don't know. This will be the first video I've actually recorded with it. We'll see if it looks any better. But I also adjusted some of the game settings to try to see if that would help. And the game is not seeming to appreciate it very much. My frame rates are fine. But every once in a while, I mean, you guys can probably see it, it just stops for a half a second. And it just keeps doing it and keeps doing it. And I keep thinking it'll settle down, but it's not. Alright. I'm going to try to load this from the front this time. It's not quite long enough to hold a full 4 pallets like this. So it kind of the front one and the rear one both have to hang off the end a little bit. Trying to split that difference a little better than I did last time. But I have more room side to side than I thought. The way I loaded it up the first time actually worked out really well, but they were both rows of boxes were hanging off the sides. Much more than I really wanted. Plus, the more weight you put on this trailer, the weirder it starts to act. Like right now, you can see it. It doesn't really look like it's sliding too much. Nope. Looks like it's sitting pretty much right where it should be. But as I load more and more weight on it, it starts to act weirder. That's when the things start to come in. But, you know, it's like real life, what would happen? Well, the trailer would break, the axle would snap, the tires would go flat, Something along those lines would happen. The trailer would not go jumping around all over the place like it's on a vibration plate. So we'll see. As we load it up, you will probably see we get to a certain point, the trailer just starts moving all over the place. Excellent. Man, I tell you guys what, this is just fun. Like, doing the front loader work, I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe everybody does not find it as enjoyable as I do, but it is fun. Playing on the, what was it called, the Platinum expansion, I guess, which had the forestry map, Silver Run Forest, I found that a lot of fun as well. A map that was almost entirely devoted to forestry. You're doing lots of loading work, or, I call it joystick work because I use a joystick to do a lot of these things. And, man, it's fun driving around some of those other machines, cutting trees down, loading them up, loading pallets full of products and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, just a lot of fun. I'm going to move that by hand because I think we're going to have to scoot this whole row forward a bit. Like I've said before, I don't really like doing this stuff by hand. I really prefer to do it, call it realistically or whatever, but with the front loader itself. But it's just, if I sit here and do this fine stuff with the front loader, we'll be here all day. We won't make any progress. We're already almost through a full episode, and we've taken, 2 trailers? And I didn't even film one of those. So, this vegetable harvester is working really well as a counterweight, though. It's a little big, a little cumbersome back there, but as far as weight goes, it's really holding us down nicely. Try to get this one lined up. Nope. Come on. Alright, what's happening here? Not down far enough? There goes the trailer being weird. And now, see, this is, now we're getting some weird pallet behavior. What is happening? Put the pallet on the wagon. Back it up. There. Alright, I had to do a little moving things around to try to get them straightened out, but hopefully that is better. As soon as we get this all moved off the field, we can get going on some field work. Actually, if we wanted to, yeah, you know what? Maybe that's a good idea. We should really just go get another tractor and start getting to work on the field work. We can set a worker to start doing some of this while we continue to load it up so that we can get some stuff done. I don't know why I didn't think of that earlier. I tend to try to do a lot of the work myself, but I mean, I think it makes sense to go hire a worker to at least start working this field while we're doing this. So let's take a look. What does this field need? We are playing with precision farming, so that's something that we're going to have to keep in mind. We'll have to buy the soil information for this field. Costs us $1,900. Not a big deal. And we find out that it is like 90% silty clay. Wonderful. That is not great. That is the worst soil type in precision farming, so not ideal there. Okay, that's all right. Our pH values, okay, 6. If we get out, we can see a lot of the information down there in the bottom right-hand corner in the precision farming panel. pH value is 6 out of 7. Bad. So we're going to need to spread lime. Do we need to plow? Obviously, there's no nitrogen on the field. That's to be expected. Whether we need nitrogen on the field and how much we need is dependent on what crop we put back in, of course, and the yield map. So not too worried about that. That's the wrong thing. Do we need to plow? There we go. Yes, we do need plowing. Okay. What else? That's it. Okay, so what we'll want to do then is get a lime spreader. We're gonna have you. We'll get the small one, even though it doesn't hold very much lime, and that's kind of annoying in itself. What do we have as far as used machinery goes? We don't need a Fendt 900. Although, no, it's not even that much off of it. This is exactly what we want right here. Wow, and it's in the sale. Okay, we'll buy it. And we'll add the extensions to it so we can hold 3,200 liters worth of lime, because lime goes quickly, especially when you're trying to raise the soil pH level by an entire pH point. It's going to go very, very quickly. As far as the rest of this stuff, yeah, I don't think we really need any of that. We don't need to put a trailer hitch on it, and I don't worry about the cover. Whatever. We'll go ahead and buy that. And now we need a tractor to make this. Let's obviously make this work. Not a 900 Vario. Well, that's a big cultivator. That would be nice, but we don't really have a need for that. This 5400 from the Massey Ferguson mod, this is interesting. 96 to 155 horsepower, which puts it pretty much in line with this guy. No, this guy's all the way up at 180. Okay. Maybe not a terrible thing. Go back to the sale. Thank you. If we load this up, it's all the way down to 86. How much is it going to cost me to make this a more powerful tractor? 125 horsepower? I thought it went up to 155. Used. This is what this mod does, some of these weird things like this. Does the Black Beauty go up to 155 horsepower? Silver Special go up to 155 horsepower? Which one of these? It said 155 horsepower. I know it did. The municipal version? No, none of them. Premium tractor? Basic tractor. Okay, maybe there's another setting that I'm missing. That is the highest horsepower setting right there, 125, which is not what it said. Small tires, wide tires, extra wide tires, twins. Okay, we'll just stick with smalls. Oh, what else? Is there more stuff? Attachers. I really, really prefer to have a front PTO and 3-point, but that is really expensive. And definitely a front loader attacher, because I can actually switch out. Ooh, what front loader did I get? I don't remember. I can switch out this tractor and use it to do the loading, while the other tractor that I have does the field work. Altogether, $77,000. I think that's not bad. So we're going to go ahead and do it at 125 horsepower. Like I thought it said this had 155, but whatever. This is the most powerful engine I can find. Get it? Okay. Hopefully I got the right front loader. I think that was the right one. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go take this back to the yard for now. But we're going to unload the front loader. There we go. Take the vegetable harvester back to the yard. We'll go pick up our new stuff and we'll get started with the lime spreading, and I'll be right back. All right. So I got this tractor. I did buy a weight for it since I took the vegetable harvester back to the kind of home base area, the yard. I purchased a weight for this because I feel like we might need it. And of course, then I set a worker to go on the lime spreading here, and it's going very quickly. And of course, he ran into our truck. So let's move. Let's move the truck. If we move it just far enough that it's out of his way, he should be able to complete the next run without running into the truck. He may well run into some pallets, but we'll see. I knew it would be a little rough trying to get him done. I think once we have the lime spreading done, then we can get the cultivation work going, and we can sort of work on resetting this field for another season, another planting. Now, we are playing with seasonal growth enabled. I've been watching quite a few Let's Plays lately, and a lot of them are not using seasonal growth, which, you know, I can kind of understand because without seasonal growth, you can kind of do whatever you want, whenever you want. But seasonal growth is, to me, one of the best parts of this game. When they were incorporated seasons into this game, I was very excited. So we are certainly going to play with seasonal growth on. I was trying to reorganize myself here so I can shove that other pallet over a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Put it down. And even the 750 pound or kilogram, I don't know, weight that I loaded on here is not doing the job. Well, I shouldn't say that. It is sort of doing the job. It is keeping me from being completely nose into the ground. But the back end of my tractor is a little bouncy with these pallets on. You can kind of see it maybe a little bit. You see how nose down we are and how much we're sort of bouncing around. That is not a lot of room for this pallet. We are going to be... This may not hold. This is the other sort of problem with moving trailers. I was completely lined up with that trailer, perfectly fine, and because it decided to go sliding off in a field with thousands of pounds of weight on it, I know we've already talked about this, now I'm not lined up whatsoever. So I have to basically do it all over again. None of this makes any sense. It's incredibly frustrating. It makes this portion of the game become a whole lot less fun. But there we go. Load it up. One more on there, and then we're going to have to go finish the liming. But while we're finished the liming, I will set a normal FS22 worker off to drive this to the... we'll go soup factory, I guess. We'll see how he does with it. Being able to use workers to cart stuff is awesome. Love it. Glad that Giants incorporated that into the game. On the base game maps, I have found that it works quite well. Most of the problems I have had with it can be, I think, can be attributed to some of the mods that I play with. I know there's one of them that I play with, which is like reduced engine braking force or something along those lines. I think that one causes some problems with the workers and their driving because the game is counting on that engine braking force in order to stop and make turns, and it doesn't always work. So we may see that. If this doesn't work very well, though, I don't want it to be taken as a condemnation of the work that Giants have done on this game and on the AI workers in this game, because some of the mods do affect how the workers actually drive when you're trying to get them to do this. We'll send them down to the soup factory. See how it goes. And off you go. Yeah. Okay, you can just wait there for now. Let's go hop in our lime tractor, finish spreading this lime, and then we can start cultivating the field. Who would have thought, well, I don't know, I guess I would have probably thought, but an entire episode just to move the pallets, and we're not even done, and I cut out the first load. That's how many parsnips we harvested from this field. Just amazing. Also, I am being very wasteful. Let's bring this in a bit on both sides so we're not wasting so much lime. And surprisingly, one load of lime in this tractor was enough to do the whole field. I did not expect that. I actually bought 8 bags of lime because, well, we will need them. But I was expecting it to take more. Nicely done. I do want to see how the driver does getting to the soup factory with that load. So for right now, let's take this back to the yard. Oh, he did not well. Okay. Turn you off. This is where he made it to. Unhire you. We appear to be slightly stuck. Okay. We're making some progress, kind of. Trying to pull the trailer like sideways, I'm sure, is very difficult. There we go. Okay. Progress has been made. I tell you what, we're going to take this one. I'm switching my mind. Because it's so much closer, we're going to take this to the preserved food factory, which is right up here. And that way we can be done with this episode. And oh my goodness, this is not working out very well. Alright, so again, do not take it as a condemnation of Giants that the base game worker did not make it to the soup factory with this load. Some of the mods I'm running play with the physics a little bit. So that was honestly to be expected. I did not think he would make it. I thought he would make it a little further than he did. I didn't think he would be done at the first corner that he tried to turn. However, I have noticed even with just tractors with implements on them. See, look how long it takes me to stop. There's no way the game is taking that into account when it's calculating its driving route. But even with tractors with implements on the back, they'll run into walls and fences and things because they don't anticipate how long it takes to stop. Whatever. Look at that. Do we have a pallet of preserved food yet? Last thing for today, then we'll end the episode. I want to just see. I don't know where the pallets come out. I get... probably right here. So no. Although we are very close. We're at 1,961 liters. And it should put out a pallet at 2,000. So we're very close to having a pallet of preserved food. And when we were down at the soup factory, I thought we were pretty close there too. So excellent. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time. This has been Zelonka and our vegetable harvesting. If you liked the video, please click the like button and consider subscribing if you want to see more of this. And please leave any comments. Let me know what you guys want to see, what you would like me to do differently, all those kinds of things. And I will see you next time.